Since its formation in 1948, North Korea has been controlled by the Kim family. Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and today Kim Jong-un have each, in their own way, made North Korea the most secretive and repressive country in the world. But little has been publicly confirmed about North Korea's ruling family. So what exactly do we know about the Kim dynasty? Well, all three leaders are marked by their extreme cults of personality. Portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il hang side by side in every North Korean home, office, factory, and public space, along with an estimated 35,000 statues of Il-sung alone. In school, North Korean children are taught that they were clothed, fed, and nurtured by Il-sung's godlike grace, and that he liberated the country from Japanese aggressors by single-handedly shooting down warplanes. But in reality, Kim Il-sung didn't fight in Korea's anti-Japanese resistance or in the Korean War. This propaganda was created by the Soviet Union after World War II, when they instituted Kim as the first leader of what would soon become North Korea. Kim continued this propaganda war for decades, solidifying his position as the country's great leader. As such, he slowly shifted away from Soviet socialism and replaced it with his own political philosophy called Juche. Juche, which means self-reliance, is the idea that a country can succeed without any military or economic help from foreign powers, and it has been North Korea's defining policy since 1972. In 1994, after the death of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il came to power. The second Kim is often described as North Korea's most secretive and ruthless leader. He believed that the less was known about him, the less could be used to undermine him. Kim didn't make a single public speech during his 17-year tenure, and even spread false rumors about himself in an effort to remain elusive. To this day, major details about his life, including his date and place of birth, remain unconfirmed. The so-called Dear Leader strictly limited North Korea's access to information and freedom of movement, and exacerbated the effects of a drought that killed as many as 3.5 million people. He also expanded a system of political prison camps characterized by torture, hard labor, and sexual abuse. When Kim Jong-il died in 2011, his third son, Kim Jong-un, became supreme leader. Kim Jong-un is best known as the dynasty's spoiled young prince. He's thought to be in his early 30s, and has reportedly spent millions of state dollars on imported luxuries, including designer cigarettes, expensive cognac, Japanese Kobe beef, and a custom-designed yacht. The third Kim has introduced some economic and political reforms, including allowing limited foreign tourism, reducing punishments for returning defectors, and allowing a handful of media organizations to open North Korean bureaus. However, Kim has largely continued his father's and grandfather's oppressive policies, and most unsettlingly, aggressively expanded the country's nuclear weapons program. So, how did the Kim family become such a powerful dynasty in North Korea? And what factors have allowed them to stay in power?
In July 2015, North Korea held its latest round of elections, boasting nearly 100% voting turnout. But despite calling themselves the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, they've been ranked as the least democratic and most authoritarian country in the world. So how exactly does North Korea's government work? Well, North Korea is effectively a totalitarian state run by a dynastic line of dictators. North Korea's cultural and political identity is based on a devotion to leader Kim Il-sung, whose presidential authority is written into the constitution. In fact, the long-dead leader is still officially the eternal president, making North Korea the only necroocracy in the world. However, it is his grandson, Kim Jong-un, who is the current supreme leader and whose authority is, well, supreme. The North Korean government is basically split into three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. The executive branch is controlled by the premier and Kim Jong-un, who is also in control of the military. The legislative branch is primarily a Congress called the Supreme People's Assembly. Elections for the SPA are every 5 years, and ostensibly they are a check and balance against the other two branches. The SPA is occupied almost entirely by members of the Workers' Party of Korea, which is the only ruling party allowed by the Constitution. There are two other minor parties, but they are both controlled by the Workers' Party. The judicial branch is known for secretive trials and a disregard for human rights. All judges are selected by the SPA. So how does this all work in practice? Well, candidates for Congress are chosen by the Workers' Party. Each candidate runs unopposed, and anybody who wants to vote against the candidate has to use a special booth. Since North Korea publicly executes its citizens for any anti-state actions, this is not a good idea. After all, the chosen candidates win their elections by a landslide, the new SPA Congress rarely meets. Historically, they are a rubber stamp Congress and have approved nearly every single proposed law without debate. And in fact, North Korea goes through all the motions of a parliamentary democracy while operating as a theocratic dictatorship. Clearly, one does not disagree with the divine rights of the leader of a theocracy, in this case Kim Il-sung. While North Koreans may want to put a stop to the countless human rights abuses, mass incarceration, and widespread famine, there is no political method of doing so. The cult of personality surrounding the Kim family is one of the driving forces behind North Korea's totally insane system of government.